Welcome to Witches of Workshop, a writing community podcast. I'm Lauren.
I'm Caroline, and this is where we brew better stories together. So if you want to be critiqued on the podcast, just send 1 to 10 pages and a synopsis to witchesofworkshop@gmail.com. Without further ado, let's get started. Welcome.
Hello.
What's been brewing in your writing cauldron and your life cauldron? Tell us all the things.
Thanksgiving break happened.
Mm-hmm.
We're recording this back in the day. You're traveling back in time right
Back
now.
to 2025.
And so I've spent a lot of time with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So much time with my family. I've gone to a lot of yoga classes. A lot of hot yoga classes. I got up in side crow. Real proud of myself.
What is side crow?
Side crow is when you put your arms on the side and then you lift your whole body up to the side. So you balance your body on your arms.
Very hard.
Look, when I say I get up in it,
you got up in it.
I mean I didn't fall over immediately. So for me, counts.
That's a win.
I rewatched Bridgerton season 2. Because I needed a Johnny Bailey fix. And then we're going to have to talk about this, but I also saw Wicked. We've decided we're going to sing more. So
buckle up for that.
Enjoy.
Love to hear your thoughts on Wicked.
First,
that's an overlapping life update.
First, I want to hear about your fun life updates. How's it going?
My fun life updates. Let's see. This past weekend, I took Cece Lira's. Cece Lira is an agent she's with Wendy Sherman, I believe it's called now. She was at Fine Print, but she taught a class called Putting the Hook in Your Book, which was very helpful, learned a lot. So that was fun. Also, not sponsored, although if they want to, hey, we won't say no. I must talk about my brick.
Oh, okay.
The brick. Okay, because I bought a brick, y'all.
I'm so intrigued.
Have you seen ads for this?
No. So, but as soon as you said what it was for, I'm like, what do I need it?
Okay. So the brick is a square magnetic physical device that physically locks you out of your phone, whatever apps you want to be out of. And by physically lock you out, I mean you have to tap your phone to the brick to unbrick or brick yourself is what it's called. So essentially I think I have a setting where at 7 p.m. it locks me out of everything. So if I'm out and about and I'm I'm just going to scroll on TikTok because I can't be alone with my thoughts for more than 20 seconds, I can't get in. And guess what? I can't bypass because I'm not at home to tap my brick. You have to physically because with your brick.
Rocco I always have time settings on mine. He's like, you always just hit ignore. Same. And I'm like, I know. I'm so weak.
So this is the only thing that actually works. And it was also terrifying the first day I got it. And I bricked myself the amount of times I kept picking up my phone to go scroll on whatever. And I wouldn't go bypass it because then I'd have to get up off the couch. But it was unnerving, y'all.
But I love this.
Something that physically locks you out. Mm-hmm. And imagine.
Is it very expensive?
I got it on sale for $47. It's normally $60, I think, which I think is worth it because I haven't found anything else that will be a physical barrier, which is crazy that we need this. But then I remind myself, I'm they make the algorithms to work that way. They make the fonts work that way. It's not my fault. It's their fault.
It's all deeply planned.
Human. So that's my life update. And I saw Wicked for Good, which you did as well. And we have very different backgrounds coming into Wicked because I never saw the musical growing up. I didn't know anything about the story other than that they're
nailed it.
Thank you. Been practicing.
Whereas I've been listening to the Broadway soundtrack. Don't want to date myself for a very long time.
It started.
But to be fair, I was never a second act girly. So I never, it's to me, it ends at Defying Gravity. Who cares what happens after Defying Gravity? And there are a few good songs. And then obviously for Good, everybody, oh my God.
Oh, that was so good. And No Good Deed was so good.
It is so good. And then the duet song, what's the sexy song? I can't even remember. As Long As You're Mine. So I'm her sexy cardigan was here for it.
Yeah.
I was A-okay with it. Look, we're writers.
So we have opinions.
The pacing was a little strange to me. I don't know. I didn't necessarily think we needed more. And the more they gave us, I didn't know if it added anything.
Yeah.
Did I watch it? And Rocco and I are already planning to go see it again in the theater. So
so clearly a fan.
So I'm like, whatever, I guess I'm fine.
Oh, those were life updates. Let's talk about writing updates.
Oh goodness. Dun, dun, dun.
Go
girl. Pop off. What you got?
I'm about 2/3 through with edits. By the time this comes out, I will be done because my goal is to be, we both have a goal, be done with our edits by the 19th.
December 19th, you're coming.
About 2/3 through, I had a few chapters I needed to add, and I'm working on adding those. And I had a really fun idea for a scene, and every time I pitched it to people, they were like, "That's so funny," but I realized it just doesn't work with the story.
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
I'm a little bummed.
I'm a little bummed, but it's for the best.
Maybe the next book.
Exactly. And I have learned that writing scenes where people are verbally fighting, they end up being some of the best to read, but they're very hard to write. So these are taking me some time.
It's very motivation based, right? Because it's you have to think about what every person is fighting for and what they think is at stake, their worries.
So that's new in my writing updates.
Okay.
And you?
What have I been doing? I finished another round of edits, but I feel like I was so all over the place with it. So I am listening to it again and kind of just but I was listening to it and I was having a really hard time with the program that I use. So I just uploaded it to Kindle today, and I think I'm just going to read it through again.
There you go.
I sent it to my bestie Kat. We'll get
Shout
her.
Out bestie Kat.
We'll get her on here one day.
Kat, but I feel like I know her.
She's got so many opinions about everything. So I'm and I was honestly look, don't do your worst. Just tell me where it doesn't make sense. I don't know if I can handle your worst right now. That's terrible advice. No, but yes.
Sometimes you need to know.
I'm just my goal right now is to just highlight the things as I'm reading through the Kindle that I hate. So if I hate it, it's just nope, gotta go. Or even places where I can make some things, just a little highlight of things that maybe don't flow that could flow better.
And that's when you feel like you've transcended, when you no longer are attached to even your good scenes. Because I'm going through now and I'm I can do that better, even if people had no problem with it.
Well, I think too, the distance, when you send out beta reads, right? You're not reading it for weeks and you get back into it and then you're ew,
the rose-colored glasses are off.
Yeah, and so you can just kind of, I don't know, which I think is great because it's self-editing is important and you've got to be able to have that. So yeah, I'm ready to send off to
no
agent.
Scene is safe. You might all be edited.
Oh my gosh.
Anyone could be chopped at any point.
I'm so lazy and tired. I sure hope not.
Well, you don't have a lot to do.
We'll see.
We're a couple weeks out from our deadline, so at some point we just got to keep going. But we're going to do it.
We're doing it.
We're also here to finally do what this podcast is really about. Workshopping.
Workshop.
The unofficial name of this segment is Let's Workshop This Thing. Unofficial could change or not. We'll see.
Honestly, I love it. I'm here for it.
Don't hate it.
Let's workshop this thing.
We've got some things to workshop.
And these things that we're workshopping are, you guys, you're going to come on a journey with us.
Yes, we are. So, Lauren, tell me about what we're about to talk about.
I have to go first.
Give us context. Give us the synopsis.
So
what is this?
So what happened was we went way back.
Way back in the archives.
Way back. So this is long before we found Workshop and found our writing groups. I'm sad to say that I was still really old. I thought I was in my early 20s, and then I looked at the date of it and I was like, oh my God, I was 29. So I was nearly 30 when I wrote this.
Okay.
Yikes. So this is the first draft of a very bad book that I started writing in 2013. It ended up being the first manuscript I finished, and I think it was version 7 or 8 of it. So almost nothing was the same.
So it evolved completely from
Yes,
this.
I mean, the idea sort of stayed in place, and you'll see the beginning, some of it actually made it to the original, in concept and in theory. And even that book, I queried that book, and it was way too long. It was 124,000 words. Whew. big book.
Don't query books over what, 100,000 words?
Yeah, if you're like super high fantasy, you can maybe get away with it, but for the most part,
100,000.
Because here's an agent once told me, and actually multiple agents did, but one gave me the insight of is that you have to reset presses for a printing press or however they do it at 100,000 words. So for debuts, they don't tend to want to risk that, I guess, like financial whatever it takes, because it's all money, so sad. So yes, it turned into a way too long book, and I mean, I even had like somebody ask for a full. Like I thought I was doing it.
She said, "Mama's arrived."
But then, I mean, even reading the many versions down the road, it was still not what it.
But it's not all bad, which we're going to get to. But when you've come so far, it's hard to see nothing but problems when you know everything wrong with it.
So I'm just going to give you, I guess, like my little synopsis of it.
Yes.
Okay. So it was a young adult romantasy. No, wait, that's yours.
Well, yours was a young adult fantasy.
Mine was a fantasy.
I have yours.
I swatched.
Let's trade.
Swapped them. Oh my gosh, that means that we're all so like our stories are way too similar. Except I was very old and you were very young.
Continues to be a theme though.
Here we go. Caroline, great name.
You know, great name for a
great
character.
Name. Used to have vivid, wild dreams in Technicolor, but ever since her mother died, she only dreams of falling. Struggling to move forward from her grief, Caroline drops out of school in New York and moves back to Savannah to live with her nosy aunt. After a strange encounter with a handsome stranger, her dreams begin to change, warning her of an impending supernatural danger. She seeks out the stranger looking for answers, and the story he weaves wakes her up to a wild world where her dreams hold the key to an ancient magic that her mother died to protect.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, do you want to talk about what you noticed about your own writing? Or what an outsider thought?
It's so interesting because the least like pretentious way, when new writers come to workshop, I cannot tell you how many times now it's just like there's like these problems that arise from a newbie writer, and
that are all the same.
And they're all in this. Yeah. Like they're everywhere.
Same with mine.
It's just because
give us an example.
Okay, we'll start it off. At first, it starts in a dream. Okay, so it starts in a dream, and then dream that she wakes up from. And if you've ever read anything, and that's not to say, I've had friends, Leslie and I've talked a lot about how like there's a lot of really good books that start with somebody waking up, but we've been told it's kind of like almost an instant no-no for a lot of agents because it's so...
I guess it's just so done before that it's hard to make it work, but it can work. Like in Beth is Dead, she doesn't wake up from a dream, but it opens with her waking up.
I mean, I think is it not Insurgent? What's the name of the movie with? Anyways, there's
things that do
Veronica
it.
Roth, I think, did it in one of hers. I'm wanting to say even Hunger Games, but I'm like one of those did something.
Yes, Hunger Games does start with her waking up.
So it's like,
so why do we think that this is such a common place that people think a story should start? Like, does it just feel?
I think it feels I think it feels like the arrival of something, right? Like there's like the beginning of a day is like it's fresh. It's a clean slate to start. And then I think it feels like we all wake up every day.
Relatable.
So like, it's just like, it feels, and I think that even still, if you're a genius, if you're writing Beth is Dead,
you could perhaps
do it. And it doesn't do anything to start the story on the wrong foot. This, I read it and I go, oh my God. This sounds like this is written by somebody who's never taken the time to learn what the do's and don'ts are. I also start in like a very weird, vague place. Like it's like almost an epilogue, and it's almost not. And it really doesn't provide any like context. So like with an epilogue, right? Like we want something that intrigues the reader so much that they're like, wait, I can't, like, when is this going to happen? Or like, when is this going to get tied into the book? And it's like, especially in fantasy, right? Like, and it's a way to pull us through in those first chapters when people are world building and you're introducing like so many words that nobody can pronounce. And, like that kind of, and I don't even know. Maybe it provided voice.
There was a vibe. There's a vibe you were setting. I think you had the right idea. You just didn't give us enough detail to feel like anchored. But I wasn't bored. Like,
okay. good.
That's good. I wasn't bored. I was like, okay, this girl's going through it with her dreams where she feels like she's falling through the sky. Like, I hate that. She's riddled with anxiety or something not so good, wakes up in a sweat. It's not good.
It's no bueno.
But also you kept that scene very short, at least. You didn't like belabor the point.
I think reading through this too, there's a lot of interesting like pacing things where I'm like, like
you had a lot of scene breaks.
A lot of scene breaks, and then a lot of like time on something maybe unimportant, and then less time. I mean, I couldn't tell you now.
Dang it, because there's certain things I had questions about that I wanted you to explain for me.
Well, I feel like I also have her looking in the mirror as soon as she wakes up too, which is also considered kind of a no-no because it's, you know, so it was like the trifecta is what I put down. I had her dreaming, wake up, looking in the mirror. But I'm like, well, how else are you supposed to know what she looks like?
Well, okay, I will give you this because I did note this when I was reading yours. I think a lot of people do the looking in the mirror thing as a lazy way to show us what the protagonist looks like. They'll be like, I look and saw my blue eyes reflecting back at me, and so you can picture someone. But you put in some details in there that I thought like did help paint a picture because you talk about her, I think like her sunken eyes and her, like you put some description there to show us that she's very tired. She's very worn out. She's going through it. And then I think you said something about her different colored eyeballs.
She has 2 different colored eyeballs because like that's the only thing to do in like you have to have it.
They have to. So it didn't feel useless to me because I was like, this does tell me something about this character.
Okay.
So I want to talk about something I do think did really well on the next page, because in the next page your character like wakes up and she goes downstairs or whatever. And she's living with her aunt, and she has a little conversation with her aunt, and the aunt is like making a southern breakfast, and does she keep telling her don't be sassy?
Yep.
She keeps telling her
doesn't
don't
want
be
sass.
sassy.
No sassing.
I thought that conversation had great characterization for the aunt, and also like told me so much about the relationship with each other, because the main character's internal is like she's so tired of this aunt telling her to eat some food and to keep not sassing her, and then she like accepts kind of like reluctantly a hug from the aunt at the end of the scene, and I think the aunt's comforting her about the mom has passed away.
Right.
That told me a lot, and I was like, okay, I like this character. I know why she's probably so exhausted. She's grieving her mom. They have this in common. So that was probably my favorite part, was this little.
I did like writing her, and I tried to keep her in for many, many, many of the revisions because I saw her as like Sally Field in my head.
Yeah,
and
she was pretty vivid.
And she's just so spunky
Southern lady.
Well, I mean,
and it's a short scene, but like things you did that anchored it was like, you talk about a specific food she's making. It's not just she's making breakfast. It's like she's making me biscuits and gravy and some thick sausage, and she's immediately like, don't go acting all high and mighty. And I'm like, okay, we can immediately picture sassy Southern aunt who wants you to have more meat on your bones and has got something to say. So I thought that was a great example of characterization without too many words.
Okay. I also used the wrong "your" at one point, and that really got my goat. But back to what we could be doing better.
Yes,
one of the things too that I'm noticing is there's tons of echoes of not just words, but of like ideas or even like sentence structures, and like it's just very like there was some repetitiveness and also like a ton of distancing language, which I still struggle with even now.
Describe some distancing language for people who might not know what that means.
So I found myself like anytime it's not just I saw with my eyes. My eyes went wide as I saw. It's like it's just anything that puts it out of the character's head and into like an action almost. So let's see.
Like my hand reached across the table for the mug instead of I grabbed the mug.
Right. And so, and a lot of the times I think that we feel like those extra words
make it
like give
better.
It like a grittiness, like they give it like there's like an but it really does, it
distances you.
It makes you feel further away. And their whole goal, anybody has, I'm not great at the books, but I really liked the idea of like story genius and like why certain books capture you. And a lot of it is because you feel so attached to the character, right? Like that you, but I think that is,
and that kind of stuff just makes you feel less close to the character.
It's just,
that's okay. I wish I should have highlighted it. There was literally only one line in the whole chapter where I was like, that kind of sounds like present day Lauren, but the rest of it, nothing like how you write now.
I feel like one thing, the voice of it definitely, I mean, like if we were to read this in our group of friends, I think that the voice of this would peak out. Do you know what I mean? Like I think I do, don't you? Although there's far less curse words.
There was only I'm gonna skim
far less curse words.
There was one line where I was like, "There's Lauren," but I don't think otherwise that I would like pick it out to be you. But it was funny that there was that one line where I was like, "There she is. She's in there," you know?
Yeah.
Because we do tend to find our voices as we go.
It's true.
You know?
I also had a part that, and this is just, I think, a lot of the times a fantasy problem, but the way I did it was even more basic, because a lot of the times when we're giving backstory and we're giving world building situations, when we can paint ourselves into this very listy corner where we've started to list. And I guess this is sort of world building, but like building her backstory, there's a lot of like she, like there's no interest in like the cadence of it. And not that it's not all about, we'll talk about purpley prose and stuff like that. And it's not all about that. But I think that when it's all very, very similar, I think it's hard to keep people's attention. So
there was a lot of internal.
So much internal, which is so funny. Yeah. Boo. I want dialogue.
Yeah, you only have that one little bit of dialogue. So I want to talk about the scene that it like ends on. Because it cuts to your main character, Caroline, shout out. She's like sitting by a fountain reading, and then she hears a crash or sees a crash. She hears the crash.
She hears something like loud, like something like cracking.
And she describes it as a crashing sound, and she's not really sure what it is, but her last thought before this chapter ends is thinking like, I gotta get out of here, basically. This is like such an interesting example, because I'm like, on the one hand, I think that concept could be like a page turning spot to leave it off with a question of like, oh, what was that? Oh, what happened? But you were just very cryptic, which I think was kind of something I noticed through the whole chapter. Is I'm like, you were very cryptic with like what she's going through, even what this crash was, because I found myself thinking like, wait, did that crash actually happen, or did she just imagine it? Was it a car crash? Did someone die? Like, what happened? And so that could have ratcheted up the page turning intensity if we like lingered more on the crash and what made her move. So that was interesting to me, that like there were some good beats there, but they're just like crypticness.
It leads her to meet our male main character.
So it's a good inciting incident.
But like but like if we think about it, it would have been and probably should have been. And honestly, in the new version that no one will ever read, she should have met him in the first chapter.
Right. She could have gotten up, heard the crash, locked eyes with handsome man. And then we want to turn
and then it's man. Like and it's just like, especially for a romantasy, it's like, oh, okay, well, let's see a cute boy. Let's
for sure.
And let's figure out, and like, especially like an aloof, like mysterious cute boy that like, who she's gonna like start dreaming about now. Like, so it's like, right. Like, so
there were nuggets there that were working, but there were also the things we learned from.
Yeah.
Not a bad first read.
And you know, the book that I'm on sub with right now also takes place in Savannah. So I clearly I got married there. I love it.
You've got stuff to say.
It's just I feel like it's one of those cities. I think Charleston is like this too, but I haven't been there enough to really. But Savannah, Bo and I used to drive down there like on weekends and we'd just go eat Southern food. And
I've never been. I want to go.
Oh my God. It's just like, it's just like romantic cute, and like adorable and
isn't everything so old?
Yes, like, and it just feels like otherworldly, and
it sounds like a great setting.
I mean, but yeah.
So the setting was a vibe.
It was a vibe. And I felt like a good like haunted place is always good and spooky stories.
Which yes, your character mentions like that's what she likes about Savannah, is that it's spooky, which that did intrigue me. I was like, okay, I want to know more about what makes this place spooky.
I mean, I wish she knew.
Also, your chapter was pretty short.
It's very short.
I kept waiting. I was like, is that all?
No, it's very, very short. And I still do little baby chapters most of the time.
I'm kind of a fan, especially of first chapters being short, because I think which when we get to mine, I'll talk about how I did the opposite. Now I like short first chapters because I'm like, we don't got all that time for me to get my buy-in. You need to be able to make me want to turn to the next scene within like 5 pages would be awesome.
And like the sad truth is how short people's attention spans are, and you don't get a lot of time to woo them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, let's do this. Let's get this done. Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I mean, it could have maybe been a little longer, or just have made it super punchy. Like you said, if you had the crash lead to meeting of the cute boy, would have been like, hey, yo.
That would have, I mean,
let's keep going.
Turn the page just for cute boy. I don't even remember. I can't remember what his name was.
Oh, it was something so good. Something so book boyfriendy.
It probably was. He was obviously
I'm picturing him to be a Julian. I don't know why.
I feel like it was very like
Thorn.
No. Thorn. So Thorn Crosby. I don't know why that's the name.
This is so not cute.
That seems like an SNL spoof character. He's like he solves crimes.
Although I could hear a Southern boy be named Thorn. Thorn, get your butt in here. Eat your biscuits.
He's like really rich in this. Mm-hmm. He's got like a mansion.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
A little dream mansion.
Like Walter.
Walter.
Something that means I had money.
We did it.
Well, and we learned some things. And this is the whole point of the workshop. This is why we joined this
But then you also
thing.
just wonder, 2013 is when I wrote this, 12 years ago. What would I have learned if I would have started the process earlier? You can't go back, but I'm just saying.
But also imagine what you might still be doing if you'd never found critique partners and other writers. I mean, obviously you had better drafts of this book that you got better on your own, but even still,
debatable.
I mean, hey, you got to ask for a full.
I mean, it's not embarrassing at all.
It's not embarrassing.
Honestly, both of these, I think we were. But I was gonna say, both of us maybe had a little more cringe for ourselves.
Super hard on ourselves.
Yes, we talk about it in therapy. It's fine.
Okay, so backstory, you guys. So, like Lauren, I have a book that I wrote the first draft of forever ago, and in preparation for this podcast, I sent Lauren what I thought was my first draft of my first chapter. And then I was like, I know I queried this book way back in the day. And I mean high school back in the day. And so I discovered that this draft goes back even farther than I thought. Because what I sent you was from 2015. And when I found what I queried, it was from 2013, which means I was 15 or 16, which is, I love that I had so much confidence.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm going to read you my query that I sent out because it is very short.
Oh my gosh.
And we're just going to let it speak for itself. To whom it may concern. Here's my hook. There is a royal conspiracy brewing in Alavere Castle, and it is up to the young servant Rosalina de Vere to rescue King and Queen before it is too late. Very vague hook. Now we get to the meat and potatoes.
Bring it.
The kingdoms of Alavere and Zadith have been at odds for a century, yet for the last few years they have managed to reside in peace. So vague. That security vanishes, however, when Queen Jolenta of Alavere is mysteriously abducted. Destitute for direction, King Roldan consults Rosalina, Princess Evangeline's nurse, for a change in perspective. So many names, so vague. Yet Rosalina's attentions are diverted when the dashing knight Sir Lyle comes for an extended visit. The closer she becomes to Sir Lyle, and the more she observes the king's stepson, Prince Harry, she realizes there may be a treasonous plot formulating under the king's very nose. But nobody believes the witness of a commoner. With the help of Rosalina's fellow servant Aldred, the peasants take matters into their own hands before war and murder bring ruin to the kingdom. And then I go on to be like, I'm looking for an agent willing to represent my 92,000 word adventure novel.
Standing.
No comps. Not a single comp was given.
You were a child.
I was a child.
I couldn't have done this at 20. I could have barely do this at 39. So I am so impressed.
I got it super short. I will say, I had my my but and then. Like I said, but nobody will believe her, and then she's going to do this. But the rest is so vague. She gives the king a change in perspective. What the heck does that mean? And also, there's so many character names.
Did you mention your age when you sent this to the agent?
No, but I wonder if they picked up on it. because of listen to this response.
Oh my God.
By the way, I queried, this signature is from Stacy Testa, assistant to Susan Ginsburg.
Okay.
Susan Ginsburg is still...
She's still kicking.
She's a known agent. So they responded, "Hi, Caroline. We enjoyed reading your query and would like to see more. Would you please send the full manuscript along via email as a Word document?" The fact that this got a full request is crazy. So I send it, and then they send a very nice rejection I thought I would read because it echoes what we're going to talk about.
Oh my gosh,
of the pages.
Bring it.
She says, see, and this is what makes me think they might have picked up on me being so young. She said, "Thank you for sending along Royal, which Susan and I enjoyed reading this past weekend." I doubt they read the whole thing, to be honest. They probably figured out in a few pages. They're like, no. "You are a talented writer, and the world that you have imagined is rich and full of dynamic circumstances and settings. That being said, we felt that the narrative was too scattered in its constant jumping from character to character, so much so that the characters felt thin and underdeveloped. Given these concerns, we are unable to offer you representation at this time. We're sorry to have not had a more positive response, but another agent may feel differently, blah, blah, blah."
Hey y'all, it's Editing Caroline here, just jumping in to let you know it was at this exact moment that Lauren and Caroline were, what's that y'all, kicked out of their recording space, a free public library room that they were using. So anyway, that is why we are in different outfits on different days in the next clip, so do your best to pay no attention, enjoy the rest of the program, and thank you so much for listening. Back to the show.
They're back.
We're back. Just a little interruption.
Just a little intermission, if you will.
That's right. Hence the different outfits. It's
Costume
fine.
change.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Before the intermission, I had just read the rejection letter I got back in the day from a very nice rejection letter, by the way.
It was very kind.
Yeah. She gave constructive criticism and compliments. What more could you ask for? One of the things the agent pointed out definitely was an issue. So I thought we could unpack kind of what the pros and cons were of this first chapter. So she said that the characters felt thin and underdeveloped because I was jumping back and forth between too many, which totally makes sense because this chapter was, I think, 10 plus pages, like well over 2,000 words. In my opinion, that's kind of like a hefty first chapter. Maybe you can get away with that in certain genres, but I think for the light romantasy I was going for, it's kind of a lot of buy-in. You also met like 6 people.
Lots of important people.
So I think,
or that you think that they're important, because if you meet them in the first chapter, we're like, oh, this person is probably going to be important.
Yeah. And some of them were not. Like, we don't need to meet the cook and the house manager. Like, I had all these extra servants, which like added fun vibes, but
to one of my positive notes was that I do think that there was an impressive amount of world building. And one of the things that we find in fantasy so often is just info dumping right off the bat. True. And I think you actually did a fantastic job of weaving a lot of, like, I believed the world that you were creating, and I could tell that it was different. So I think that that is something to take note of, especially fantasy authors, like as you're building a world in that first chapter, like people don't even know your character yet. Like,
exactly.
You've got to, I think there has to be a real balance in how you do that. I think an interesting thing is I assumed that the queen, who starts off our prologue, or I think
the first paragraph.
I think that like that should be a prologue.
Yes, it would make more sense.
But then I was assuming, okay, this is our main character.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily know if it's a bad thing that we got a little bait and switch. I think it could be interesting, but I think that she needed to somehow think of our main character at some point, or like the expectation that her character might be the one. So basically her character gets kidnapped in this epilogue. And I think that maybe if the reader knows the clue, like the person that she thinks has the key to figuring it out is the main character, that could be a way to possibly make that work.
I think what I was going for, which was an okay idea, was I was trying to start with action. And I think that
which
was the
you
right
did.
idea.
It was.
But action with, like you said, I started with a different character, but I think that would have been a good fix if I just made this character who's the catalyst for the action think about the main
also
character.
Because we find that our character is this like regular person, right? When we meet her, So after the prologue, when we find out that she is a regular person, we're like, well, wait a second then. Why did the queen think that she was going to be the one to save her? Like, so then there is a mystery built in there. Yeah. I also think, random, I think that this is a first person story and it was told in third person. And I think that sometimes first person like forces us into somebody's mind. So like the head hopping or the wondering whose story it is like becomes like impossible.
That's true. Did it evolve to be first person? I can't remember.
Did it?
Did it? I think it was third person.
No, I think it was still third. Even
in third. Yeah, because I remember the current book I'm writing. I was like, oh, first person is so fun because I wasn't doing that before.
It is that's a delight.
I'd also like to point out a huge overarching problem with this story, just for someone else to think about it. Because I was like, this is not that it could never be done, but it was a very hard thing I was trying to do. Like basically, my plot was a servant like saves the day of some missing royals. But obviously, if you're trying to keep it any amount of realistic, even while fantasy, it's like, well, you're innately putting barriers between these two people, and there's just like things that aren't believable for her to do or to be involved in. And so that was just something that took me many drafts to figure out. Like, I'm trying to force something to happen. Not that you couldn't,
right?
But I think it's very hard to do. So think about, like that mix of, what do they call it? Like suspending your disbelief when you're trying to do things that aren't realistic. I think there was too much that's just not believable.
Well, and then you jumping right off the bat, like a servant is being called by the king, and you're like, what are we talking about?
And I'm like, no, obviously, because she has a super close relationship with them, which no, it's not
right.
Believable.
So like the idea of why, like it would have to be like, well, your late mother was my nanny for all. Like there's like a reason that there's a lot of building.
But sometimes if there's too many reasons, then it doesn't work. Which is what I ran into with like a draft I wrote of this like a year ago. Like it got to like a decent place, but it's still like there's so much you have to explain to make it believable, and if you have to explain too much, it's not going to work, is my opinion. So that was an issue. So way too long, too many characters. I think I also introduced too many stakes for like a first chapter. It could have just been about this queen being kidnapped, but then I also talk about how like the princess is deathly ill,
is sick,
and then my main character is taking care of her.
And then so there could be some slowing down because like we meet the prince, which isn't a bad idea, but then we also hear about the cousin from, or the Lyle coming, the knight coming from another place. And so
just cramming way too much in.
None of it necessarily didn't belong within the story. I think it was just about building that character belief and trust first so that we then care for her as she's on the journey. It was like a lot of the right beats of what you would think of a story. And like, oh, this like makes sense that I'm going to tell you this now. And then I'm going to tell you this now. But it was lacking a little bit of the like, what is she like feeling? Is she heartbroken for this queen? Does she actually love these people? It seems like she does. Why is she so like, there's just a lot of those questions that I think people like to know the answers to when they follow these rides, because they are about to follow blindly along. They're about to just be like, yep, sure, let's go. So we want them to really, I don't know, get in the head of these characters.
You need someone to invest in, like maybe if I was writing a big epic where there could be multiple main characters you're following, but that's not what I was going for. So it didn't really work that I'm trying to get you attached to all these different people when it's like, really there's one character who, like you said, you need to care about them first.
Right.
And what matters in their world.
And what would the inciting incident, what would you say it was? If you had to pick one.
I think at the time when I was writing it, the inciting incident was the queen gets kidnapped, because I think in my head I just thought like, well, that's some juicy action, and it's not unjuicy action.
No, it's definitely juicy.
But then for the servant main character to get roped in, very hard to explain all of that. So there were a lot of like right ideas executed poorly, which I think is what a lot of newbies do.
Which is why you go to workshop.
Exactly.
And they tell you.
100%.
And then they tell you. It's great to have a bunch of people go, this isn't where your story starts. And you're like, wait, are you sure?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're probably 100%. Right.
So all of those things I came to learn later, but great first attempt. We have to start somewhere.
No, this is a solid first attempt. You got an agent to ask for a full.
That is the most outlandish part of the whole thing.
No,
I'll have to talk in a future episode about the landscape of agents and publishers, because I wonder if it's just changed a heck of a lot since then.
Maybe,
or maybe the 5-sentence query is the way to go.
Snappy.
Gosh, they have short attention spans. I mean, or maybe at the time, because I was trying to think back, I was like, I think this was like Hunger Gamesy era.
So they were
maybe this agent was like, I want fantasy real bad.
It's selling.
Yeah, so that's just another thought for you, but proud of us. Cheers. Cheers. Okay, we're gonna conclude with a quick little rapid fire wrap up. Burning questions. Okay, I'll go first. Your most overused word or phrase in writing?
I think it's actually.
Mhm.
I say actually and really a lot, so much so that Microsoft Word is like tries to get me to delete them afterwards, and they make me change it all the time.
You're like, no.
Mine,
I think, is just. I put that in dialogue a lot.
You know, I'll do a search at the end and go through and see how many justs I can delete.
Yeah. Why do we use so many justs? I think because it makes it sound natural.
And we just use it all the time.
You just.
And
I do love it, but not always.
It's a great word.
Okay, controversial question for the
Which
second
one?
one.
Oh, okay. Your guilty pleasure TV show or movie?
Mine totally right now is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Not that I'm that guilty about it, but it is the definition of trash TV. And it is probably the only trash TV that I religiously watch.
And it
pardon the pun.
It is intense.
It's intense. But no guilt here. Just
I don't believe in guilty pleasures because I think like if you like it, you like it. I have watched, there's a movie on Netflix called Lonely Planet. Is that what it's called? Yes, Lonely Planet. It's got Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth in it. And it's like an age gap. I don't know. Watch it. It is a delight.
Okay. I'll check it out. This is an interesting one. Okay. So we're coming up on 2026 at the time of recording this. So what is like a resolution for the new year, or a word? Some people pick like a word for their year.
I usually try to be really awesome with my word, and it's not quite there yet, but I'm working with something with clarity, with like clear is what keeps coming to my head, and it's not quite right, but I want like clarity of decision, clarity of purpose. Like I want to just make decisions.
Just do it.
What about you?
I don't have a word either. So mine is simple: to finish another book in a year.
Yeah.
I did that this past year, but that was my first time doing it, and I want to keep a good thing going.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I believe in you and your clear 2026.
I don't know. We'll see. Our translucent 2026.
If that was your word of the year, and you had that on a vision board, translucent. I'd be like, okay.
So douchey.
Giving snail.
Giving snail.
It's giving secretion. Anyway.
Thank you to our sponsor, Holiday Cheer.
And Snail Mucin. For translucent.
Okay. Please come back.
Yes, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to Witches of Workshop. Be sure to find us every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, if you want to be featured on Witches of Workshop, please send 1 to 10 pages and a synopsis to witchesofworkshop@gmail.com.
Until then,
happy writing.